everybody, it's me, Steve Schnee, the CD Junkie, and thank you for tuning in to another episode of PUNK SHUI. This is a show where I talk about music that has that aggressive sound of punk rock, but throws in a bunch of great hooks and melodies. It's not pop punk, it's not punk pop, it's PUNK SHUI. Oh, that perfect balance, and I love great hooks. But this episode, I'm going to talk about a band that maybe has closer to a harder edge than most of the stuff I talk about, and I am referring to UK Subs. This is a band that formed in 1976, celebrating 50 years this year, fronted by Charlie Harper. He's been there since day one, and he's had a lot of members go through. I mean, there's probably 300 guitarists and 700 bassists, and I mean, that's a little bit of an exaggeration, but Charlie Harper has steered that ship and kept UK Subs going for 50 friggin' years. Now, he's had great members of the band that have lasted a good amount of time that I felt were his musical partners in the band, beginning with Nicky Garrett, who was their guitar player during their classic early years. And he's come back from time to time. And then Alvin Gibbs, who joined in like 1980, but left in 83, then came back. But then he was in probably the last 10, 15 years or something. And he's also a great addition to the band. They've had a lot of great musicians in the band. I mean, one thing that I want to mention is, like, Steve Slack, I think, was the original bass player, and he played for the first, handful of years, and then he was replaced by his brother Paul Slack, and he played with him for about a year, and then Steve Slack came back, and then Paul may have come back again, but still, overall, it's been Charlie Harper's vision, and he's led the band all these years. Now, what I didn't realize back in the day, I'd read papers about punk rock, and they said punk rock, they were tired of the Emerson, Lake and Palmers and Yes and Genesis and stuff, and they wanted to bring rock and roll back. But no, British punk rock was a reaction to what the youth of the UK was going through with the government and civil social unrest. It was a reaction to that. The British youth did not really think that they had a voice that represented them, so they created it themselves. So that's why you saw the Pistols, the Clash, UK Subs, Sham 69, Ruts, all these great bands just exploding out of England. And of course, then you had the stuff here in America, and they were reacting to their own issues. It's always been embracing music and using that as a tool. It's been a way for them to express themselves through music. So back when I'm 14 years old, I didn't understand that. It took me, a few years later before I really understood what everything was about. But I didn't live through this stuff. I don't know what, the guys in the Clash or the guys in UK Subs or anybody was going through. But I listened to the music. I listened to the lyrics, and they told stories. So these artists are just as important as Bob Dylan or the Beatles or the Rolling Stones. They may not have been as popular, but they are voices that needed to be listened to. And trust me, a lot of us listened. Let's talk about UK Subs. And by talking about UK Subs, let's talk about this brand new box set. It's called the A to Z of the UK Subs. This is a 26 CD box. And this contains their first 26 albums. Now, they've released 3 since then that I do not have in my collection, but I will eventually get. And those are all the albums right there. Now, the interesting thing that some of you already know, but they released an album for every letter of the alphabet. So, for example, A was Another Kind of Blues, B was Brand New Age, C was Crash Course, D was Diminished Responsibility. So their albums are in alphabetical order and chronological order at the same time. Now, of course, there have been many compilations that have come out that didn't fall into this, A to Z, but those are mostly either American compilations or compilations on different labels and not associated with their official albums. Now, their official albums, there are some live albums in here. There's Appeal Sessions, which was the letter P. And then there's like a couple compilations, but I think they're mostly like, re-recordings and stuff. But this is an absolutely solid set. Now, it's less melodic than some of the other stuff I listen to. It's more hardcore. It's intense, but it's pretty amazing, especially when you experience the anger, survival, resistance, the reaction to Britain's broken system. When you listen to all that kind of stuff and you realize, here we are, we're 20, 30, 40, 50 years after the recording of that album, yet we're still experiencing all the stuff that Charlie was singing about. Maybe different names involved, maybe different governments, different nations, but we're all still experiencing it. Not just in the UK, but here in the US and all over the world. But every punk album released during that period, especially a band like UK Subs or The Clash, those were history lessons. Now, I can sit here and I can go through this and talk about each album. There's 26 albums on here. What I'm going to do is I made an unboxing video. It's a little bit less than 2 minutes long. It features excerpts from some great songs on this. I decided I'm going to use that instead of creating like a 5 or 6 minute medley. Why don't you sit back, relax, give this little medley a listen, take a look at this unboxing, and I will see you on the other side.
Captain Scarlet, he's invincible. Dragging me down, 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 down on the ground. Dragging me down, 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 down on the ground. Dragging me down. Are you the problem? Are you the solution? We believe in creative rebellion while you create state destruction. And when the trust is gone, we sing rebellion song. We sing rebellion song.
Well, that's it. I hope this inspires you to check out UK Subs. Definitely check out the A to Z of the UK Subs. New box set on Edsel Records. I appreciate you taking the time to watch this video. Remember to like, comment, share, subscribe. Ring that bell for future notifications. And until the next time, remember me. I'm Steve Schnee, the CD Junkie.